What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, today's video needs no introduction whatsoever. The title says it all. An unfortunate disabled person at school gets expelled for being disabled. Literally, that's it. Let's get into it. School expelled me for mum's anger. We sued the county and caused a reform. So, I have a really bad leg. I've had 13 surgeries, long story, and I just started at a new school. After the first 3 weeks, I had to go in for another procedure on my leg. Not that big a deal to me, I've been here before. Upon my return, I had documentation of my restrictions, as well as special amenities that were required. The big three were that I needed extra time to get from class to class, I must have someone to escort me, and I needed unrestricted access to the elevator. All of these got me recurring problems, such as constant harassment by teachers and security about me being in the halls during class time, and why was my cousin out too? Well, he was filling the role as my escort, as I have anxiety problems and we had the same classes. These first two were annoying, but easy enough to deal with. The real issue was the elevator, as I was told multiple times that for security issues I couldn't have a personal key, due to it sharing the same functionality with the interior door keys. I would never have had any issues with this, as I was told there would always be someone on the same floor as my classes to open the elevator for me. This, of course, was untrue about 75% of the time. The lack of elevator access meant that I was always stuck in the halls when other students were going class to class, and I was consistently late due to having to wait for someone to come by and open the door for the elevator. This also meant that I would sometimes be stuck waiting through the entire lunch period, and due to my absences, I couldn't afford to simply go to lunch after the fact. After about 3 weeks of this, I was tired of not getting to eat lunch. So I did one of the stupidest things I could have attempted, and I tried to use the stairs. For context, I wasn't on crutches. I was on a full-blown walker. About halfway down to the landing, I fell hard. As lunch was letting out, one of my friends found me, got someone to help pick me up, and carried me to the office. Another one of my friends went to find my other cousin. The one who normally escorted me wasn't there due to being sick. So I was without escort because I couldn't bear the thought of, gasp, a stranger escorting me, who, when getting to the office, managed to get me to calm down enough to give them my mother's number. Now, my mother is quite hot-tempered, but she can keep a level head normally. When she'd heard that I'd fell, she was there in record time. When she got there, she immediately asked what happened. I told her I didn't want to miss lunch again, so I tried to use the stairs. Big mistake, as that set off a SAR bomber-sized explosive. She immediately turned around and demanded for the principal and VP to get their butts in here ASAP. As soon as the principal and VP walked in, she started berating them in a fashion not suitable for most adults to hear, let alone kids. When the VP made an offhand remark about my condition, my mother was swarmed by local sheriffs that provided security for the school's entrances and office as she physically went after the VP. We were escorted out, and after looking at the file and realizing my cousin and I had the same address, they figured out that I didn't actually live there. Now, my grandmother's address was listed, as she looked after me after I left school up until around 8 PM. She was also raising my cousin after an issue between her and my aunt. They used this as grounds to expel me, and they told my mum, "Your son can be some other school's problem now." I was then enrolled at the school near my house, and I had to have yet another surgery to repair the damage that was done as a result of my fall, and redo the work of the previous procedure. I'd gotten multiple statements from teachers as well as my doctors, and my parents were moving forward with a lawsuit, naming the VP, principal, and the school county board. We were contacted by a lawyer who had won multiple cases against our very school board, some of which went to the state Supreme Court, and he told us he'd take our case pro bono. He was getting tired of going against the same board, and he thought a case like this would be what it took to try and finally fix their attitude. Fast forward 9 months, and I was walking out of court with a settlement to cover all my procedures, as well as a written confirmation that the school would be going through a complete administrative overhaul, and that the principal and VP would both be let go, having their administrative credentials revoked in our states. My new school was let know on day 1 of my medical requirements and my need for a personal elevator key by the superintendent and the head of the State Board of Education. Oh my god, guys, stories like this just make my blood boil. It's hard enough being disabled in the world we live in right now, but being disabled and then having other people putting you down and making life even harder than it already is at your own school by the teachers, the VP, the principal? Are you serious? How hard would it have been to just change the lock on the elevator and give OP a key? Would that really have been that hard? How risky is that? It's not at all. OP literally can't go upstairs. They've had 13 leg surgeries. Give them a key and make their life easy. Don't force them to, wait for someone to go up on the elevator with them. Wait for their cousin, who, by the way, is doing an incredibly selfless job by, escorting him around. Make his life easy. It's hard enough already. Why make it even worse? And the cherry on the cake is so obvious that they're just trying to get rid of him. Any excuse to get rid of a disabled person. That's what it seems like. Oh, your mum got really angry because your kid fell down the stairs after having 13 leg surgeries and being forced to try and go up them. Yes, obviously you'd be angry. Oh no, we're going to expel you for that. Seriously? Is that now the attitude that schools are using towards disabled people? Just completely get rid of them if they need any special attention at all? Seriously? It's embarrassing. And a good thing too that they lost their jobs, because after that, nah, no way you deserve to be anywhere near a school. Now moving on to our second revenge story. Bully my brother, guess you won't know who blew up the toilets. This is not my story, but from my educational advisor, one of the legit funniest people I've ever met. The other day, we were talking about our school times and the differences between being educators and students when she started telling this story. She used to be the model student, getting along with all the teachers and getting the best grades in her classroom. But there was that one teacher she could not get along with. It was her chemistry teacher, and she described her as, all teachers have that breaking point where they just start screaming, but hers was incredibly easy to find. Until the point of the start of the story, she was just an unliked teacher, and someone my advisor just dealt with. But one day, she reached her breaking point when her brother told me this teacher, who I'm going to be calling Rude Teacher, was calling him stupid and screaming at him for not knowing an answer she hadn't even explained properly yet. That was when she got involved in a plan, the famous toilet bomb. Because of the shared gender with the teacher, she knew where and when the rude teacher would use the restroom. She actually had a strange routine with the exact time and stool she used to use. And because she, as a model student, could come and go without even being noticed, no one would assume she was up to no good. The thing is, the whole class was in on it. Before she got involved with the plan though, there was one single condition. No one would rat or blame anyone else. No one was supposed to say anything. She had a plan. And to the toilet the bomb went. My advisor went to the stool, installed the toilet bomb, and went back to class at the exact time the rude teacher had her restroom break. Okay, just to intervene here quickly, guys, so YouTube don't delete my channel. This is not an actual bomb. Obviously, it's just probably some sort of device that is used to, spray toilet water around. No one would actually get harmed by this bomb. It's not a real bomb, just to make that clear. There's no bomb. YouTube, please don't delete me. I love you. Let's carry on. When she came back from doing the deed, she sits down at her desk and hears the explosion, followed by the rude teacher screaming bloody murder and coming back to class to scream at them. The only class that was on break for teacher transition was my advisor's class, so the rude teacher beelined straight to them and started demanding to know who did this. Of course, radio silence. She jumped in anger like a toddler, made all threats she could legally do, and made the biggest tantrum you could imagine, while being absolutely soaked in toilet water. That was the point of the bomb, by the way. But radio silence. The next logical step for rude teacher was to call the principal, who arrived at class with a box filled with pieces of paper. She explained that everyone was to write the name of someone involved in the toilet bomb and put there to be taken and read by her by the end of the class. That was when my advisor stepped in. The second the principal was out of the class, she told everyone to just write, "It was me," in capital letters and put the paper back in the box, which everyone did. When the principal came back and started looking at the papers in front of the class, she slowly turned from a normal color to a deep fiery red and started throwing her own tantrum. I guess they found out her breaking point and did the only thing she could do at that point. She suspended the whole goddamn class for 3 days. In the end, my advisor did everything. blew up the toilets, led the class to not snitch on anyone, and earned 3 days at home without anyone suspecting anything. Great revenge, totally vindicated, and just to make it clear once again, guys, that wasn't an actual bomb. It was just, a device that was used to, blow toilet water up and make a mess on this teacher. No one was harmed. I can promise you, YouTube, my channel's lovely and very safe. Don't hurt me. I'll be sad. Thanks. Okay, nice. Now, this story actually reminds me of something that happened when I was in school. Not many of you will know this, but I actually went to school myself back in the day. Fun fact. And something very similar happened to this in one of my design and technology classes. So my class was about, 26 boys roughly, and we were all just chilling, like making things as you do in DT, messing about with like hammers and nails and soldering irons and wood. I don't really remember really what happened in that class. It wasn't that great. I'm not really into that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's not important. What is important is that one kid in my class, well, we think it was one guy in my class, accidentally caused a dent in one of the wooden desks. So we had our class, we left, someone had accidentally caused the dent, but no one really knew about it, and that was that. Until our next DT class, when our teacher said to us, guys, by the way, one of you has caused a dent in the desk. I don't really mind who it was, but please own up to it. And no one admitted it was them, because I don't think anyone actually knew it was them. So we were just left there, standing, waiting. No one really knew what to say. Now, instead of just saying, all right, guys, no one knows who it is, I'll let you off this time, our teacher went mental. Like, so angry, and as a result of nobody admitting it, I guess they just wanted someone to be honest and come out that it was them. They forced us to stay inside for the next 5 days during our lunch break. Inside, in the DT classroom, for 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's how long our lunch break was. Every single day for 5 days. It was boiling hot. It was in the summer. We weren't allowed outside. We had to eat our lunch indoors in the DT workshop. So that's, over 6 hours of staying inside just because one of our class didn't admit it was them. Now, interestingly, I actually think we were going to stay inside for even more than that until one bloke in our class just decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not spending the rest of my lunch breaks inside for the rest of the school year until we lose this loser of a teacher. I'm just going to admit it was me, even though it wasn't. So he just took one for the team, stood up and was like, yeah, sorry guys, it was me. And then the teacher was like, all right, cool. Didn't even punish him, just wanted someone to be honest. I don't really know what the point of that was, and I genuinely think we were going to indefinitely stay in that room for the rest of school life, it felt like. I actually remember us as a class complaining to our form tutor, complaining to the head of year, saying it actually wasn't any of us. It could have been someone from a different, class. We don't know who it was. Why are we being forced to stay inside like this? It's not fair. But they just sided with the teacher and were like, just admit it. Finally, someone stepped up and was like, yeah, it was me. Taking one for the team. What a legend. But yeah, that's one of the most interesting school experiences that I think I've had. And it's very similar to this one. Apart from, in this one, OP did it all. And it was on purpose. In my one, no one knew what was going on. We were just forced inside like little school child slaves, I guess you could say. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did and you want more revenge stories right away, well, check out this, because this is going to tickle your fancy. This is a revenge video, obviously, but it's long. It's a movie. r/ProRevenge, the movie. Click on it. There's a lot of revenge stories in it, obviously. It's a 1 hour, 40-minute video movie that I made and that I love. So check it out and I'll love you forever. With that all being said, I'll see you all tomorrow with a brand new episode. Take care, guys.